Good evening, class, and welcome to our performance management class for today. Today, we'll be taking the topic variance analysis. Now, what is variance analysis? Variance has to do with differences. When things varies, we talk about variances. And so, why do we need to talk about variances? Sometimes what you plan to execute and what you actually execute are two different things. Say, for example, you plan to go to the market to buy foodstuffs, and you calculated that you are going to pay 10,000 naira for the things you are going to buy. Now you reach the market, and to your surprise, everything is 13,000 naira. What have you done? You have budgeted less than what was in the market. The market prices did not favor you, so it was adverse to you. So it is not favorable to you, it is adverse. This is because you have to now spend more than what you budgeted. But if I'm going to the market with 10,000, you find out that everything comes down to 9,000. Wow, the market is favorable to you because you spent lesser than what you bought. So what happens now is this. First, you have a budget. We call that budget the fixed budget. We also call it the original budget. This is the budget you had in mind in your house when you are doing your list to go to the market to buy the things. Now, after that budget is made, you went to the market, you experienced the actual realities. So like now, you budgeted to spend an amount of money in the month of April. Okay, let's say you budgeted in the month of March that just passed. Maybe your budget was finalized on February 28th for implementation. You had what you're supposed to spend in the month of March as your budget. Now, March came and went. You now know how much you spent in the month of March, right? Now you check that thing I spent in the month of March. Was it the same with what I budgeted? If it is not, then there is a difference. It is going to be variances. But now, look at it now. In variances, we look at comparing the same level of activity. Let's say, for example, you decide to buy 1,000 loaves of bread, for example, to sell. And you budgeted that you are going to spend 100,000 naira for 1,000 loaves of bread. And you ended up buying 950 loaves of bread. And you spent 900,000 or 90,000 as against 100,000 for 100,000 loaves of bread. So you find out that you cannot be comparing quantity 100,000 with 950. So there is a need for you to flex your budget. When we say flex your budget, so that it will conform to the actual realities so that you can compare and contrast. Enough talk. We'll look at question. And in this question, we are going to use it to understand what variance analysis is saying. So now let's go to May 2024. Question number 3. Let's write the name of the person. Ogbonigwe Nigeria Limited. That's question number 3. Now we'll write Ogbonigwe. Is that the spelling? Ogbonigwe. So that's a G, yeah. Nigeria Limited. All right, let's read. It's a big and reputable publishing firm established in the early 1970s. The company has recently been taken over by Wisdom Publishing Company, a multinational company operating in several countries of the world. Mr. Pampam, who is the managing director of Wisdom International Publishing Company, has been sent from the company's headquarters to review, among other things, the budgeting and reporting system used by Ogbonigwe Nigeria Limited. During his visit to all the departments, he discovered that monthly budgets are prepared for each department in the company. Upon request, the newly acquired company submitted the last budget statement for the notebook production, which covered Q3 of 2022, as shown below. So what we are looking at here is Q3 of 2022. Now, if you look at it now, budget statement presented was as shown below. Budget statement for Q3, department notebook production. We have particulars, actual results. The actual result is the unit. Now, look at actual results. Units produced is 75,000 units. Labor hours, that's actual labor hours, 212,100. So let me put something here. This is units, and this is hours. All right, so now you were given the actuals. Look at the actual, direct material, direct labor, variable production overhead, fixed, variable admin, fixed admin, total cost, sales, value in production, profit. And look at the budgets. And look at the variances. So this is what they did here. Look at the variance now. Budget minus actual. That's your variance. So we have 1440 minus 1512. Sorry. Please confirm that you can see my calculator.
Yes, I can see it.
Good. 1440 minus 1512. It gives you minus 72. Now that's this minus 72 we have here. That is how the variances were computed by this person. And so that's how we did everything here. And they said the profit is 18,000 naira variance. Now, the head of department of notebook production department, Mr. Josiah Okoli, in his comments in the state of affairs of the department, revealed that the budget statement was based on 72,000 units. So You see here, this budget here was based on 72,000 units. While this was based on what? 75,000 units. So you see now, 72,000 budgeted, actual was 75. And we are getting 18 as a favorable variance. Wow. And with a standard labor processing, just a moment, let me plug my laptop. All right, we are here. Mr. Josiah said that the budget was prepared with 72,000 units with a standard labor processing time of 2.8 hours per unit. So the standard time is 2.85 hours per unit. Okay, so there is a need for us to make our budgets and our actuals to become the same unit for us to compare. So what it means here is that this is the original budget. We need to do another budget which will be based on 75,000 units. That's how it is done. So your original budget is 72,000, no doubt. Your revised budget, we'll call it revised budget, will be based on 75,000 units, right? So that we'll be comparing 75,000 units budget with 75,000 units actual. And these variances is what we will not use this variance anymore, because this variance was comparing 72,000 units with 75. We'll be bringing a variance that has 75,000 units budget with 75,000 actuals, compare and get a variance. Mr. Pampam observed that Mr. Josiah Okoli was not in any way enthusiastic about the budget system. He saw it as a pressure system imposed by the company to permit some departmental managers in bad light. He pointed out that the system was hurriedly introduced by Dynamic Financial Consult about 12 months ago. The consultant did not take time to provide explanation that could assist users of the budget to understand the budget system. The head of department of notebook production department, who was very experienced, doubts the competence of the consultant. He was of the opinion that the system introduced in Obinigwe Nigeria Limited was either a ready-made one developed for another company and not suitable for the company, or that the consultant did not understand the system well enough to give him the needed confidence to educate the users. He concluded by stating that he was sure the department made a loss as against the positive figure recorded in the profit, and there was a possibility of reporting a loss at another period when profit was actually made. We will check. The situation reported above cut across virtually all departments, and so the need to nip the issue in the board became very imperative and urgent. The task of making budget system more useful and acceptable in a biased environment like this, no doubt, seems difficult, but your advice to Mr. Pampam will assist tremendously in getting the company out of the quagmire resulting from various contraception of this budget system. Now, you are required. The part we are so interested about is the A part, to redraft the budget statement in a more informative manner showing the relevant variances. So what it means is that these variances are not relevant. We need to do it in a more informative manner. So what we'll do now is we will now say redrafting of budget statement. So we'll get certain things here. This is going to be the variance. Let me call it VAR variances. This is going to be actuals. This is going to be flexed budgets. This is going to be original budgets. Okay, so we'll start with units. Sorry. This is going to be units produced. This is going to be units produced. Units produced stroke sold. Here, original budget says is 72,000. Our flex, our actual says 75,000. That means our flex must be 75,000. The essence here is to make your variance to be 0 in terms of units. So it means that we must compare 75 with 75, not 75 with 72. What's the next thing? Let's look at direct materials. Let's look at direct material. We take them the way it is. Direct materials. Now, in the case of actuals, we have 1512. Sorry. Remember here, I will need to put Naira sign. So actual is 1512. Your original is 1440. 1440. What is our flex going to be? So our flex is going to be this. We have 1440, which was done using 72,000. So if it is done using 72,000, how much is it going to be for one? We'll divide it by 72,000. This is the value for one. Now, if we are to do 75,000, we'll multiply this by 75,000. That will give us 1500. So we're going to take 1500. 1500. So what we have here now, our variance will now be 15 minus 1512. It's going to give us -12. Now, as against negative 72, we're having negative 12. The next one is direct labor. Direct labor. What is direct labor? Actual is 738. We'll come here, make sure you are writing it in the right place. 738. Budget, original budget, 720. This is 720. What would the flex be? We'll bring our calculator again. 720 was done with 72,000. So I can divide by 72,000. I will get that for 1. Multiplied by 75,000, I will get what will be the value for 75,000. So that will be 750. So 750, write it down here, 750. So 750 minus 738, that is going to be 12. This is a positive 12. So you see here, as against negative 18, where this is lower than this, you have a negative 18. You are having this, sorry, this is bigger than this one here, having a positive 12. The next thing here is variable production overhead. And see question, what is it? Let me see the question. So I'm not seeing my calculator.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Are you seeing my calculator now?
No. Okay, I'm seeing it now. Just appear. I beg, can you go back from that direct material? I didn't get it. That's why I.
Okay, so let's go to direct material again. This 144 was given to us, right? This 144 was given to us in the question. That's this. And this 1512 was also given to us. That's this. What we need to determine is this value here. And how do we determine the value? We'll bring our calculator and we'll take this 144, 1440. And we will say 1440 was done for 72,000 units. So if I divide by 72,000 units, I will get 0.02 as a value for 1 unit. Now, if I know the value for 1 unit and I want to do for 75,000 units, I'll simply multiply by 75,000 units. And that's how I got my 15. Now, in the direct labor, 738 was given to us, and so was 720. What we need is to find a figure here. And we said 720 was done using 72,000 units. So we divide 720 by 72,000, we get 0.01 for 1. To get that of 75,000, we multiply by 75,000. That gives us 750. And you see here, 750 is the budget. 738 is the actual. When you minus the actual from the budget, we're having 12 as a positive figure, as against 1,500 we got here minus 1512, we got a negative 12. So whenever you see anything in negative, it is adverse. And we'll put A in place of this negative. When if it is positive, we'll put favorable. So you see us put F. So you can either put A and F, or you put the negative sign and the positive sign. We now go to variable production overhead. So I will say variable production overhead. So for variable production overhead, what were we given? 474 actual. So this is actual 474. The next one we are given is 432 original budget. 432 original budget. So be careful. We now want to get this figure that will be for the revised budget. We bring our calculator again. I believe you can see my calculator. And I have
Yes, I can.
432 for the original budget here. It was prepared with 72,000 units. So you divide by 72,000 units. This is the value for 1, 0.006. For you to get the value for 75,000, you multiply by 75,000. And you have 450. So I will record my 450 here. Right? Then I'll calculate my variance. 450 is your budget minus the actual 474. You have a negative of 24. So negative of 24. I don't need to put A or F when I've put negative. I know that negative is adverse. The next one is fixed production overhead. So this is fixed production overhead. Now, what were we given? We were given 354 as actual, 354. 354. We're also given budget 336. Budget is 336. Now, this was done using 72,000 units. What do we get here? Now, take note. All the time that we have been doing what we did for material, direct labor, and variable overhead cannot apply to fixed overhead. This is because in direct material, direct labor, and variable overhead, they are all variable. They depend in per unit. But for fixed production overhead, they are fixed in total terms. So what happens here is whatever you have done using 72,000, the fixed overhead will not change. It's just like saying you pay house rent or you pay shop rent and you produce 72,000 units and your shop rent was 1 million naira. Even if you produce 75,000 units, your shop rent will not change. So we have 336,000 here for 72,000 units. We'll use the same figure for flex budget because you cannot flex fixed. Fixed production overhead is fixed. And so we will do 336, sorry, 336 minus 354. That gives us minus 18. So we'll take our minus 18. We'll put it down here. Then the next thing to do is variable admin overhead. Variable admin overhead. Okay. You have here 246. That's actual. 246. 246. The next one is 220. 240 rather, that's original budget 240. That's 240. Now remember, we are dealing with variable production costs. So we will not do it as we have been doing before. We will say 240,000 was done for 72,000. We'll get the value for 1, multiplied by 75,000. We will get the value of 250. That's what we are going to use. 250. Of course, 250 minus 246 will give us 4, a positive 4. The next thing to do is, the next one is fixed admin overhead. Fixed admin overhead. What were we given? We are given 300 as a result. So that's 300 here. Actual results. We are given 288. Original budget. 288 original budget. What will here be? Now this is fixed. So whether the budget is 72,000 or 75,000, it will become 288. So what's the difference? It's already been done for us. 288 minus 300 is minus 12. It's already been done for us. That's minus 12. Okay, so you check again. We need to know your total cost. So budget and actual. The actual was done for us here as 3624. 3624. 3624. So this is your total cost. 3624. Now what about here? 3456. That's budget, original budget. 3456. That's for here. 3456. We will not have to do this on our own. So let's start. 1500 plus 750 plus 450 plus 336 plus 250 plus 288. That gives you 3574. 3574. 3574. What's the difference? If you minus it from 3624, You have 50. You have 50. So 50 is a negative. Let's check. We already have 12 in negative plus 12 positive minus 24 minus 18 plus 4 and minus 12. That gives us 50. So we have been doing the right thing. Now the next thing here is sales value of production. Sales value of production. So the sales value. Now, how did they get this profit? It is this sales value minus cost. So let's see it. Let's test one. We have 4, 6, 50, which is this value here, minus the one up, minus 3, 6, 2, 4. And that's why we got this. Let's test this one. We have 4, 4, 6, 4, minus the up one, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's how they got this. So we'll put them down. Actual result is 4650. 4650. Actual result 4650. So this is sales of production. Then this should be profit. So here, what was our profit here? Our profit is 1008, sorry, 1026, 4560, 1026. So this is 1026 as your profit. Let's see this one here. 3456 is our cost. 4464. 4464. That's your sales. Let's see. 1008 is 1008. So this is your profit here. What about here? We need to know the value to put here. Okay, so this is your sales here. We'll do it the same way. 4, 4, 6, 4 was sold for 72,000 units. This is the sales for one. The sales price didn't change in your budget. Simply just multiply by 75,000. Give you 4650. 4650. And you have 4650. 4650. So yeah, you see here, the same sales value, your variance is 0. And so what is it going to be? 4650 minus 3574. That will give you 10, that's 1076. 1076. So if you were to find out 1076 minus 1026, you have 50. So you see here, you have a positive variance, a positive profit of 50. You see, your cost was a negative, was an adverse variance. You spent too much. You spent too much. You spent too much. And just a moment again. Let's see something. Let me try this again. 3. Okay, we have 4, sorry. 4464 is for 72,000. And multiply by 75,000. 4650, which is the same thing. So now, looking at this, your budget, you spent too much, you spent higher than your budget. Your sales was the same. That means your budgeted profit is more than your actual profit. So in the case of sales and profit, when the budget is bigger, when the budget is bigger than the actuals, it's really adverse because we expect the actual to be bigger than the budget. Your actual is smaller than the actual, than the budget. So in cost, we are doing budget minus actual, budget minus actual. When it comes to sales, we'll be doing actual minus budget. That's the other way around. It comes to profit to be actual minus the other way around. So you have 50. So you see here your cost. You spent 50,000 naira more than you are supposed to. And so your profit was 50,000 less than it was supposed to. So now you have redrafted it in the best possible way. So you see here now, this person is saying they have a profit of 18. This Mr. Josh was saying you have a loss of 50,000. And this is the way ICANN has done it. Net profit is 50,000. They started with sales, less direct material, the same thing. They now put contribution. This is another way of doing it. Original, flexed, actuals. Started with sales. That's one way. We put the sales figure. The same thing we got. Direct material, direct labor, the same figures we had. And your net profit happens to be 50 minus. So that's it. Says here that variances in brackets are adverse. Computation of relevant variance, this is the way they computed it. Sales price variance. Look at how sales price variance is being calculated. Actual selling price minus standard selling price multiplied by the quantity, which is 75,000. So you see, actual selling price was 62 naira minus 62 naira. How did we get the 62 naira? 62 naira. Actual selling price. Look at this selling price here. We have 4650. When we divide by 75, it becomes 62 naira. So it's the same thing we got at the flexed budget, 75 naira. So sales quantity variance, we have 75, 75 times 62 is still nil. So these are some of the variance formulas. But the way I showed you here, for cost, you just minus the budget minus actual. When it comes to sales, it becomes actual minus budget. In another different question, we will be using this kind of formulas, and I'll tell you how to do these formulas. Look at other variances they got here. Variable administration cost, look at actual cost, look at flex cost, 4,000, which was the 4 we had here, 250 and 264. Fixed, look at the fixed, 355 actual, flexed is 336. You see, flexed is this same 336. It didn't change from original to flexed. The same thing with administration cost, it didn't change. So that's it here for the first question. Asked to state the general behavior associated with budgeting in particular. Relate such issue with this situation. What is the general behavioral problems? If you see here, behavioral problems associated with budgeting in particular related to this issue. Some of the problems include use of past record to estimate is not realistic. So in budget, we usually use past record to make an estimate for the future, and it is not realistic. Now, they say budget may contain slack or dummies, leading to over bloated budget estimates. So your budget may be having some slack, over budgeted. Budget may be realistic or unrealistic due to source of data and information. So your source data may be realistic or unrealistic, giving you kind of date, the kind of budget you're having. They may come from accurate or inaccurate records. And it could be prepared with sentiments. Then personal resistance, especially if the budget preparation is top-down driven. When they say top-down, it means it's coming from top management to lower staff or lower management. So if it is prepared and handed over from the top management to the people who are going to carry out the budget without bringing them to participate in the budget, you know, something you participate, something you put your own input, something you talk with others and it was accepted, you discussed it, you are more likely to carry it out. But something that you don't know about, it was forced down on you, you are likely to make a resistance. Lack of participation may introduce lack of acceptance to the budget. Now, because you didn't participate in the preparation of the budget, you may find it difficult to accept it. Sub-optimization, where departments work for individual goals, not for company goals. Something called group goal congress. It means that what affects the group as a whole is what you should follow, irrespective of whether it is against your own benefit or not. So if you are trying to work only for yourself, you want to make yourself better at the expense of the company, then it means the company will suffer. So when they say where departments work for their individual goals and not for the company, then there will be a problem because your budget will be saying something else that is not in favorable terms with your own personal goals. and you will not be able to like it and you want to work against it. Budget slack or budget bias is there. Fundamental misunderstanding about costing, especially where management see budget control as cost cutting. You want to cut down your costs, and you may want to use budget to cut it down. And now the last part of the question says here, state the steps that Mr. Pam should take in order to revitalize the budget system. Now look at some of the states here. Ways to addressing the negatives of the behavioral issues in the budgeting. One, introduce a realistic budget approach, such as zero-based budgeting approach. You start from ground zero and build everything from zero. Introduce incentive schemes like bonus. So when you put incentives to people, make them have incentives to work. They will want to participate. They will not want to show resistance. Give them incentives and they will carry your biddings. Train and develop management and staff members in the application of budget and budgeting control and total quality management techniques. Training is important. If people are not adequately trained, they will not know what to do. Amend the reward system. If the reward system is not rewarding better, you change it. Set up fair units to resolve disputes emanating from petitions, disputes, resentments, and resistances, and ensure a change in management culture. And of course, put in place a participative and negotiated approach to budgeting. People have to be involved in the budget, not just made from management and handed out to the staff. So now we have seen how to prepare variances. This is part one of variance analysis. In part two, we're going to look at calculating some variances and subdivisions of those variances. We'll likely look at a reconciliation statement, how you reconcile variances. So we'll look at it from a past question point of view. So this is where we come to the end of today's class. Take time to read these variance analysis. This is a way that the ICANN question may come. And when we get to part two, you get more clarity on how variances are handled. So at this point, I don't know if you have any question which you may want to address. So is there any question which you would like us to address?
Oh, question.
No question, right?
Yes.
I can't hear you, even though I know you're speaking.
I said no question.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So we'll come to the end of our class for today. All right. So we are going to our next class. We are going to look at part two of variance. Thank you so much and do have a fruitful time.